Welcome to Awaken Wednesday. I'm glad you're here. And here we are. Happy New Year, if I haven't said that to you yet. It is a beautiful start to this new year, which I hope will be vastly different from last year. Maybe more scintillating, inspiring, peaceful, creative, connecting, compassionate. What other words would you like to use to describe your hopes for this new year? I invite you to put them in the chat. Definitely for me, my hope is that we have a lot more liberation in many ways. Liberation from our old roles, responsibilities, from our old past patterns and traumas. Liberation from our resentments, heartbreak, pain, fear, and just be completely expanded and clear, so that we can imagine it figuratively, like be running through a wide open field of beautiful tall grasses and wildflowers, whatever that feeling is. Joyful, hope, gentleness, compassion, humor. Welcome, John Paul from Holland, and love, gentleness, joy, hope, lovely. More compassion. Well, good. More compassion would be good, including everyone in the humankind fold. So I am happy you're here. I'll keep my eyes out. Prosperous. That's a nice one too. I'm into spontaneity too. Excitement, spontaneity, new experiences, expanded heart and mind. So today I thought we could do a couple of different practices rolled up in one. And I know the teachers in training have been, in Awaken Lesson 8, introduced to this practice called labeling. And it's just a practice you do for a short period of time to get to understand the landscape of your mind. I was doing this morning. I was meditating. Today, I'm changing my time in the morning to 44 minutes. So I'm meditating in the morning, and there's a lot that goes on in this mind of mine, and I'm sure in your mind too. And as much as I want to sit and do a mantra, or sit and do some chakra practices, or sit and do breath awareness, the mind just travels all different places, to the news, to, my hopes and dreams, to what happened last week, to thinking about you. And so this is a practice that we're going to be doing called labeling, and there are many ways to do it. It's actually a mindfulness practice. And, here, I've got some more people to let in here. This mindfulness practice is so that you're aware of what is going on in there. I mean, some people even say that you are being thought. Have you ever heard that? Where people say you're actually being thought. These thoughts are not even your own. They just come and go from the vast collection of the common humanity, and you're being thought. And maybe that's true. I don't know. Whatever the case may be, I don't know where some of these thoughts come from that I was experiencing today, and you probably don't know where the thoughts are coming from that you're experiencing in meditation. So one of the mindfulness practices is to label the thoughts and emotions. So you can observe, you actually step back from the mental activity and observe your mind. Just like we observe the sounds in the environment, the sensations in the body, we observe the mental activity, not just the movement of thoughts, but the fact that we're thinking at all. So what we would do, and we're going to do that's just part of the meditation, we're going to do an open awareness meditation, which is a great way to establish this witnessing presence that I think we're all going to need this year. This witnessing presence that helps you to not get into the fray, but the fray is here and you are witnessing it. Sort of untouchable. Even the ancient texts of Vedanta, the Bhagavad Gita would say, in this world but not of it, or that this part of you that's the witnessing element is untouchable. Water cannot wet it, wind cannot dry it, weapons cannot cleave it. It's eternal, it's unborn, and never dies. And this part of you is this witnessing awareness that I don't know about you, but when I meditate, my ultimate aim is to dwell in this ocean of awareness. Yeah, there are waves of thoughts, waves of emotion, waves of ideas, waves of sound, waves of sensation, but to observe the inner experience and recognize the difference between the awareness and the fluctuations in awareness, the transient mental events, temporary appearances of visuals or verbal thoughts or linguistic thoughts. It's much like paying attention to clouds in an open sky and it's going, there's a cloud, what does it have to do with me? Even that woman who, gosh, I can't remember her name right now, but it came to me right in the middle of meditation. Oh, Mel Robbins, who's like this, written this book called Let Them. You know, let these thoughts be here. Let these people do what they're doing. Let the news report what it's reporting. Let this president do what he's doing. Let them, so that there's this part of me that's letting them. And not that I approve, but just let these things happen without me having to get myself worked up into a tizzy. So when a thought or an emotion arises in this labeling process, your job, if you can do it, and it's hard, for me anyway, is to notice it. Here I am, I'm experiencing frustration. Here I am, I'm having the thought that this person is wrong. Here I am, I'm feeling anger. Now, why would we want to do that rather than saying, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, and I'm judging? Because when you say I'm experiencing or I'm feeling something, it's not you. The I is you, but the movement in the world around you is what you're experiencing or feeling or thinking about. Does that make sense? Instead of saying I'm angry, I'm experiencing anger. Instead of thinking I'm frustrated, I'm experiencing it. I'm sad, I'm experiencing sadness. This puts this little spaciousness between you, the witnessing awareness, and the ever-changing world of thoughts, forms, emotions, the temporal world, time and space. So this powerful shift helps you to see that there's an object in your awareness, but it's not your awareness. I am feeling angry. It doesn't mean I am angry, right? So anything that follows I am is probably an experience, right? I am angry. I am thinking. No, I am having the experience of anger. I am having the experience of thinking. So we're going to start, and we'll move into meditation so you can have this direct experience, but we're going to start by labeling the act of thinking itself. So I am thinking. You don't have to get into the content of the thought, but if you notice you're thinking, I am thinking, or I am having the experience of thinking. Or you can even use a neutral, just saying thinking, feeling, emotions. And you can even label the category of thought. Planning, judging, remembering, replaying. So you can start just labeling it with one word. So you don't have to say, I am thinking. I am having the experience of thinking. Just label thinking. And then if you want to get a little more definitive, you can go to planning, judging, replaying. And then when emotions come, just like labeling them, like you would say plane, bird, bluebird, hummingbird. When the emotions come, you can do the same thing. Anger, sadness, frustration, shame. Just noticing as they move, and they continually move. This helps you to observe without judging, without having to do something about it. It's just to notice this. Noticing. This is all mindfulness. Noticing. And you can also notice outside of meditation. And this is, I'd say, an advanced technique because it's different when your eyes are closed and you're having the direct experience of your mind and your body and your emotions. But you can do this when you're not meditating too. Like if you're standing in the grocery line and you're scanning the room for who's doing what and who's not following the rules, you can just say judging, 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 or whatever it may be. And you can do it during passive activities, those rote activities where the mind is continually making all kinds of activity, like you're folding your laundry or making tea. Can start saying, where is my mind right now? Planning, remembering, judging. It's usually along those lines. So we're going to start a meditation by becoming aware of our environment, as we usually do, closing the eyes, getting comfortable, taking a few long, slow, deep breaths to establish sort of a parasympathetic response. And then we will aim to do a little breath awareness. And then you may notice at any time, it's probably happening even now, the mind traveling into another time or space, or being distracted by your own thoughts or a sensory experience. And just begin by labeling it. Not I am thinking, but thinking. Let's do it right now with your eyes open. Maybe you're hearing, maybe you're seeing, maybe there's some thoughts, or maybe you're having some physical sensation. So thinking, feeling, maybe you have an emotion. So you can start in the gross level like that, and then if you like, you can move into the content of the thoughts. Planning, judging, embracing, loving, hoping, dreaming, right? Replaying. So that's what can happen in this meditation. We'll do that for the first probably 4 or 5 minutes of the meditation. And then we're going to expand the awareness beyond all of that and really notice the presence within the ever-changing environment, which is called open awareness. For those of you who are meditators who've done a lot of mantra meditation or visualizations or breath awareness, these are practices that are called focused attention practices. Where you've got the stick, you've got the stick. Some of you heard me talk about the elephant and the bamboo stick, and keeping the mind attached to a particular object to ignore all the mental activity and physical sensations so that you can transcend. But with the open awareness, you drop the stick, and everything that arrives in your awareness, including your thoughts, emotions, and everything that arrives in your awareness is your practice without clinging to any one thing. Okay? So this may be new to some of you. Some of you are used to it. And we'll end the meditation with a couple of self-inquiry questions. And for those of you who have not done that before, self-inquiry is just a silent way of asking yourself some questions. And we also don't make answers happen. We ask and then we let it go. And we just assume that if we ask, the answers will meet the question at some stage of the game. Okay? So sitting comfortably, getting as comfortable as you want to get, sitting upright, lying down, eyes open or closed. I invite you to put your hands face up or face down in your lap, whatever's the most comfortable for you. And throughout this practice, you can move if you need to, adjust your posture, scratch an itch, open your eyes, and then see if you can settle back down. You may even label the interruption, whatever it may be, physical interruption, mental interruption, emotional interruption in some way, and then come back to the practice of open awareness. But first, I'll give you some guidance to observe what's going on around you. Pay attention to your breath, and then we'll drop all of that after the labeling and move into open awareness. We'll be meditating for about 20 minutes. So as you sit here, you may want to begin once again to give yourself some long, slow, deep breaths through the nose if you can. Doing this at your own pace, inviting a deep, fresh inhale, and exhaling completely and slowly. Doing 3 of these if you like. Giving your body the signal that it's okay to relax right here. It's okay to take a deep breath. It's okay to let it all go. And then allowing your breath to return to its natural rhythm and depth. Throughout this practice, there's no need to try and regulate your breath. Let it go as fast or as slowly as naturally wants to. It may get deeper or shallower, and it may even pause for a time. As you sit here as comfortable as you can, breathing naturally, you may want to adjust your posture slightly, just to bring a little more relaxation. And begin to pay attention to the sounds in the environment. You may even want to say listening to yourself, labeling the brain's activity or the mind's activity. If you notice you go a different generation away from listening to judging or planning or identifying, notice that too. Welcoming every sound you hear, and welcoming every thought you might have about the sound. You can bring your attention now to sensations you might be feeling. Let's start with the physical ones. Noticing where your body meets the chair. You might even say sensing, sensing, sensing. Welcoming everything you sense. The breath moving in and out of the body. The place where your hands are resting on the lap. Sensing your eyes, your nose, your mouth. If the mind goes beyond sensing to a judgment or a preference or some resistance, notice that too. And then return to sensing. And we'll do one more sensory experience as you tune into the flavors in your mouth. Maybe it's completely neutral. Possibly labeling tasting tasting, tasting. Turning your attention now to your mind's eye and to your physical eyes, noticing what visuals you're experiencing with your eyes closed. Seeing, seeing, seeing. If there's anything specific you want to share with yourself and identify light or colors or whatever else happens to be a category that you're seeing, you can label that one generation away from seeing. So bringing your attention now to your breath, sensing the inhale and the exhale. Letting your breath be natural. As you sense the pause between each breath. This is a focused attention practice as you focus your attention on the sensation of breathing. But because the mind is active, it may interrupt your awareness with some thoughts. And when it does, and if it does, you can simply say, thinking, and then return back to sensing. That if you notice you're caught up in a lot of thoughts, you may want to go one generation away from thinking and label the types of thoughts. So we'll do this for a couple of minutes. And every time you notice your attention drifting away, you can label it and come back to sensing the breath. I'll keep track of the time. observing the breath, observing the sensations and the thoughts if they interrupt the breath, labeling what the interruption is, and then returning to the breath. And keeping your eyes closed, and letting go of the need to label anything. Let go of your attention on the breath. And simply rest here in awareness itself. Your consciousness. With this open awareness, you can practice opening and softening against anything. Letting everything in your body and your nervous system be as it is. As you breathe in and out effortlessly, as you experience your senses and sensory experiences such as what you hear and taste and smell, feel emotionally and physically, letting everything be as it is. Observing what's happening without any interference from your side. There's nothing you need to change or improve upon. There's nothing you need to resist or cling to. There's no need to compare this moment to any other moment. There's nothing to do, there's nowhere to go, and there's nothing you need to get to. There's no one to become. Resting in existence. Allowing everything to be as it is. No need to struggle in this moment. Resting in awareness. In this moment, there is nothing missing. Resting in wholeness. You can silently ask yourself the question, who am I? Who am I? Who is this one sitting here? As I rest here in my soul center, what message does my soul have for me? What message does my soul have for me? Sometimes the answer meets the question immediately, and sometimes it happens after the meditation. These questions are worth asking. And before we end the meditation, I invite you to remember your presence. May I remember my presence even when the world is turbulent, and my thoughts race, and my emotions are waves that seem insurmountable. May I recognize underneath it all, there's this wholeness, this resting place of awareness. With your eyes closed, I invite you to take some deeper breaths through your nose, enlivening your body with a little more oxygen. As you become aware of how you're feeling right now, the you that is aware of the fluctuations of emotions and physical sensations. Inviting some movement into your body. Hearing sounds. Tuning into the light through your eyelids. You can slowly begin to open your eyes. First with a downward gaze, aiming to keep that connection with the one who's looking. And then when you're ready to open your eyes all the way, you can do that or keep them closed as long as you like. I like to put my hands together in the Anjali Mudra. I invite you to do it too if you like. And honoring that ever-present part of you, this timeless, everlasting, unbounded aspect of you. I honor that part of you and myself. This field of love that lives through each and every one of us. We can sometimes forget about, but we know is always here. So thank you for joining me today in remembering your wholeness, tapping into it, noticing the fluctuations in the field of thought and emotion. There's always the experiencer under all the experience. I'd love to hear what you noticed. I'm going to stop the recording now, but I'm going to invite you to stay here and share, if you'd like, what you noticed the fluctuations in your field were.